Hey there, welcome to another edition of the CPC Speaks podcast. Today we're at NJ Reentry in Toms River, which is a really great program that we're going to talk more about. But I want everybody to meet the director of the program, Brian McGillivray. Did I pronounce that right, Brian?
Close enough.
Good. We're going to talk about your story and this awesome program and really all the good things that come out of it. It's really an exceptional situation. So let's just get started and talk about it and let everybody find out from the conversation. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you are? And
Sure. My name is Brian McGillivray. I'm the director here in Toms River for New Jersey Reentry. I started as a case manager down here way back when in 2016. I was promoted in 2018 to be director in our Monmouth County office, which is where I met Ken, and we stayed friends. And then in 2021, I had the opportunity to come back down to Toms River to sort of help rebuild in a way. So I jumped at that.
Miss having you. We were neighbors we had NJ Reentry upstairs, CPC downstairs, and it was great having you upstairs because our programs used to work together so often. I was always coming up to talk to you. We were sending clients back and forth, and it was really helpful.
Yeah, I miss that.
Yeah, it was good times. But I'm glad we stayed in touch. So before we get into NJ Reentry, how did you get into this?
So when I was in college, I thought that I wanted to work with juveniles. So after school, it took about a year to find work, but I interviewed for a job that I thought was with folks on juvenile parole, but it wound up that they were on adult supervision. And I needed to work.
You didn't think they asked that at the interview?
I did. No, I did. But I was like, I didn't care at that time. So I jumped at it. I needed it.
Right.
Anxious to get started.
All right.
So I wound up loving the population, and I've just been immersed ever since. I couldn't even imagine working with it, juveniles at this point.
Because you're so good at it. Anywhere. I know you're a humble guy. You don't like the accolades or the bragging or the whatever. You're definitely like every time I've ever seen you, you've always been pushed away the attention, and it's a sincere. Some people push away like no, but secretly like it. You definitely are one of the like to go off the radar, so to speak. But with that said, everybody who knows you knows what you do for people, and big part of that is. People see, you're a person who's overcome a disability, who's moved forward in spite of a disability. And I'm glad you're allowing me to ask you about that because I've always wanted to. So let's get into that. Like, tell us about that situation.
Yeah. So I grew up in Lakewood, just the average kid in Lakewood, kind of going to school. I didn't have much direction in meaning that I didn't know if I was going to go to college. I didn't know if I was going to work. And I was about a junior in high school, and I was in a car accident, and I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So I wound up breaking my neck, and I wound up in the chair. So that was at 16 years old. So I did a couple of months rehab up in West Orange at Kessler Institute. I had fantastic family support.
It's awesome.
As you would imagine, I think with any sort of catastrophic situation, you need your family. Went back to senior year at Lakewood High School, graduated in 1998. I wanted to take a year off so bad, and my mom was not hearing that. So we applied for at Georgian Court University, strictly based on the logistics. It was close to my house. So I wasn't driving at that point. We were kind of going back and forth. At that time, Georgian Court was only primarily women's college.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah. They would have co-ed evenings. So I was doing this evening classes. Long story short, I took a liking to criminal justice and psychology there. Wound up with a psychology major and a criminal justice minor. I just knew that I wanted to be on the other side of the wall, so to speak, like the outside, helping people figure out how to not go backward. And then, I wound up working for parole in a way at a community resource center in Neptune, and found my way to New Jersey Reentry.
It's funny you said to help people, prevent people from going backward, because that's so symbolic of your story. And I think that's a challenge. I think everybody who's not everybody, I think a lot of people who want to be self-aware, see someone in your situation in a wheelchair, and what would that be me? Would I keep going forward, or would I give up? You never know until you're in that situation. You can say, oh yeah, I'd do it, but that's a tough situation. Yeah. And let's talk about that, because that's the part. Like when I first met you, I was like, well, look at this guy. He's running a program. He's moving. He's driving. You're doing everything. Like it was like, I'm like, I would like to be like that. If I was ever in the same situation, even some equivalent, keep moving forward. You said about not going backward. Yeah. Tell me more about that. Like, 'cause to me, that's special. And that's, I think people
Absolutely.
see that in you.
I knew that I didn't want to just be home, I think that the doctors had kind of told my parents that, I was going to maybe get Social Security, but I wasn't going to be able to, quote unquote, lead a productive life. And after college, I was like, I have a really great opportunity to keep moving forward, to keep going on that trajectory. I didn't quite know exactly where I'd land, but I knew that I wanted to do something with my life. In Lakewood, around that time, we're talking about the mid to late 90s. It was a much different place, and a lot of people didn't go to college, and a lot of people didn't get to make too much of themselves due to substance abuse.
Yep.
Going to prison, etc.
Plenty of people in my social friend circle growing
Absolutely.
up. Sometimes you reminisce about it, and think about, wow.
Absolutely. I think that, when that happened in 1997, when I was 16, I think I was just to the age where I could start getting into some trouble. And I think, I honestly believe, and I'm not the most religious person, but I am spiritual, I think. But I think God was like, slow down and let's go another way. So I blessed in that regard.
Nice. And what would you say was I'm sure you had times in there along the way that was challenging for you. What helped you to keep going? And you talked about your spirituality, your family, but like something, I'm sure there was those moments you were like, forget this,
Yeah. It was a long road. My family, of course, I have two brothers who are younger. I'm the oldest of three, who I just love, and we have such great relationships. But I know that I wanted to make them proud and let them see that it can be done. Whatever it is, it can be done. And a bump in the road shouldn't stop it. There's always just progress.
Just keep moving forward.
Just keep going. No other. There are choices, but there's no other choices.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I don't know. I just knew that I wanted to make something myself, and like I said, I didn't really know how or what. And but the path that I chose for myself there, with as far as education and the population that I wanted to sort of try and impact, it just sort of steered the way for me.
It's awesome. So now here you are, New Jersey Reentry program, and you're supervising the program, and this program is it's well known. It's your leader is Governor McGillivray, and he's out there spreading the word. Yeah. Tell us more about the program and what you're doing here in Stillwater.
So when I came to NJ Reentry, I was fortunate to be introduced by email to a man named John Kufos, who was one of our co-founders, along with Governor McGillivray. And John took a liking to me and sort of gave me an opportunity to make more of myself, kind of keep that thing going.
So he kind of believed in you.
Yeah.
It's always important to have somebody like that.
Absolutely. You need that. You need somebody to open the door, and then you can figure out whether or not you want to walk through or not. But, when it came time to to build the program in Monmouth, I knew that the environment that I wanted to create was fun. It was not a burden, not a chore. You know,
And it's funny you say that. I don't know. I don't know if we were going to get a moment where people in the audience can see it. You are one of the funniest people. You're just low key about it. But like so many times you've texted me and made me laugh out loud, like in a meeting. You are definitely got a great sense of humor. But go ahead. So you wanted it to be fun.
yeah.
So here's guys coming out of jail. They're already probably angry, stressed, rightfully so, right?
Yep.
World's kind of stacked up against them, and there's stigma, judgment, and whatever other doors slamming in their face all the time. And so you wanted to make it a good place to kind of feel good.
I wanted to make it a positive place all around. I didn't want any it's easy to slam a door on somebody so easily. It's so easy. So when somebody came through the door, I want them to have the best experience possible. That includes from myself and my staff. I wanted it to always be an open door policy. And I always wanted to be in the community so that the community can see there is this program that can do so much, and that where people come out better for it.
Absolutely. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen some of the people, talk about not slamming doors, some of the people you've taken, like homeless, complex needs and multiple problems and serious mental illness that, and I just from being downstairs, I could see like, you guys are definitely not turning people away. You're trying to do what you can for everybody that comes through the door. I definitely can attest to that.
I think after a little bit of time in the field here, we know that, we are dealing with complex folks who have all different kinds of issues that all need help at the same time. It's not like they can put one issue on the back burner while they're trying to figure out the other. It's sort of like an all-encompassing situation where they need this sort of attention that not everybody is equipped to provide.
There's a good segue to talk about what NJP entry. What do you do? So you get this person with the complex needs. They're stressed. Their society's making it tough on them, and here you are to help them reenter, right? Reentry, right?
Absolutely.
What's happening at reentry?
So something as sort of minor to you and I, maybe, as identification, a social security card, a birth certificate. We make sure that those folks have that. Without that, they're not getting in any door.
Starting place, right?
And then we try to remove barriers to employment. That can mean almost anything: identification, job skills. We have our own 25,000 square foot, 3-floor training facility where all we do is focus on getting people.
Is it the place up north?
Yeah,
I've seen it. They're doing the electrical in there. Yeah. Awesome.
It's in Hudson County, but we do provide transportation from most of our sites because we believe in that. If you have a credential behind you that's going to allow you to make a decent wage, provide for your family, be a better, husband, wife, mother, father, son or daughter, whatever the case may be, you're going to continue that trajectory, so to speak. You have something backing you, or you don't have to maybe look behind you. So through employment training, we lead to driver's license restoration.
Which can be a big job.
Huge barrier because, and I'm sure you know this too, a lot of our folks go through life, and whether they're struggling with addiction or in and out of the county jail, state prison, they're racking up these fines out there in whatever municipality you want to name.
Right.
And those fines hang out there. And we try to work with the courts to get those vacated or reduced.
Right.
We lift warrants, lift suspensions, so that there's a clear path to a license. Of course, if we're able to get somebody back on a road, they're not restricted to the bus route, or a friend was supposed to bring them but can't.
Right.
More things.
Right.
Yeah. More hiccups and more barriers.
Relying on people for transportation is tough, and Uber's expensive.
My goodness.
Yeah. So that's huge. So just you're giving people the tools to get out there and and live independently, and whatever situation brought them to the legal system in the first place, now you're kind of diverting them away from that. And I know also as well, being your neighbor downstairs in the mental health and substance use, being at CPC, you guys also refer for mental health
100%.
counseling, addiction counseling, and that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah,
So it's really that whole person care.
Absolutely. It's those things like you mentioned, substance abuse and mental health treatment. It's as important, if not more, than having a form of ID in your wallet. We were fortunate to have CPC downstairs to go right to and knock on that door and say, hey, we have somebody in need.
Yeah.
And your team was always willing to help out. And that's so clutch, because people don't always have the understanding themselves to know that they need help.
Yeah. And some places would want to maybe shy away. Like, that's a little too tough for us,
Mm-hmm.
some of your guys, so, but we're, we have the same kind of mission, to help people who have nowhere else to go.
Absolutely. So many people, between Ocean and Monmouth County, so many people need help and that are disenfranchised and that may feel helpless. And, it's nice to be able to be that phone call away where we can say, come on in, we got you.
Awesome. So we'll put your information on in the caption, so that everybody, links and phone numbers and all that stuff. So, but to sum it up, what would you say? Like, let's say someone is out there who's watching this, who knows somebody, or maybe is in a situation where they're struggling, and like, man, that sounds like a good program. I want to meet Brian and his people, or they know somebody, or they work in a field where they encounter people. What would you say to them?
I would just say, if you're looking to kind of turn things around and get on that good path, give us a shot at it. I can guarantee you won't be disappointed.
Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.